Raider Nation, join the family. Subscribe to the Raiders Report. I'm trying to get to 82,000 subscribers by our watch party on Sunday up against the 49ers. So if you bleed silver and black, if you rep the shield, then go ahead and subscribe.
No matter the location, from OAK, LA to LB, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, we're going to get into training camp news and notes from today's last final day of camp. And then we're going to break down the impact of Denzel Perryman. I'm going to tell you some winners and losers, and probably the reason why you clicked on this video. I've been asked by so many people, should the Raiders go out and get Reuben Foster? I'm going to tell you why they should and why they shouldn't. Now, today's show is made possible because of Magic Spoon, so if you guys haven't already, go give them some love, magicspoon.com/Raiders, and you can save $5 off on your very first order. And if you're wondering what flavor I've been eating today, I'm going with the cocoa. So some players that weren't at practice today, Jalen Richard still nursing that foot injury. Also, shout out to our team for getting some updated pictures. They look great. Richie Incognito on the offensive guard. Denzel Good also not at practice today. And then, of course, Javin White, who's been nursing a, I believe, MCL injury. Nicholas Morrow, he's battling that ankle. He's obviously not going to be out there on the field. Nick Kwiatkoski, Cleveland Furl. We do have some updates on both Quit and Klee. In terms of Kwiatkoski, he was at least working on the sidelines, which you like to be, I guess, a little bit more optimistic about. I've talked to him personally. He does plan on coming back to practice this week, and he's going to be ready for week 1. In terms of Cleveland Furl, he was not able to practice today, but he was able to get a workout in. In terms of how worried the coaching staff is on Furl, they don't sound too worried whatsoever. So in terms of Klee injury update, that's all good here. Now, for whatever reason, Dylan Stoner's picture is just going a little bit berserk, but it's all good. The update on him was that he actually has a chance to make the 53-man roster because there was a pretty interesting report out there that offensive coordinator Greg Olson said some of the toughest cuts might come at the wide receiver position, and then Vic Tafur also added in that, listen to this, his chances of making the team, they're still out there, which I went ahead and said before, that means they could move on from somebody like Willie Snead. What about Damon Arnette? Let's talk about him today. One of the coolest notes that was on, at least that I saw today, was that the Raiders challenged Damon. They wanted to see what they can get out of him. Now, if I'm looking at the depth chart, if I'm thinking about where Arnette basically ranks on this team in terms of cornerbacks, I'd actually probably put him at number 4. He's behind, obviously, Trayvon Mullen. He's behind Casey Hayward. And now he's even behind, from what it sounds like, Nate Hobbs. It sounds like Nate Hobbs has been that good where he's actually now the 3rd cornerback on this team. But for Arnette, picked off Nathan Peterman and had several pass breakups, and apparently he had himself a very, very good day of practice. Gus Bradley, though, when they spoke about him, said he was very confident in somebody like Nate Hobbs, was optimistic about man coverage with Amik, and it was okay with Damon Arnette. Now, if you guys are looking for an awesome deal, go to magicspoon.com/Raiders where you guys can get the hookup on some of this awesome cereal. Can you see on the box here? 0 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 13 grams of protein, grain-free cereal, and then maybe I can even get this close enough where you guys can see this. Can you see how it compares to some of the other cereals out there? I mean, there is no comparison. This stuff tastes great, and it's really, really healthy for you. If you want to go ahead and give Magic Spoon some love on Instagram, you can also hit them up. They're always posting brand new deals. In fact, what I want you guys to do is DM Magic Spoon and tell them that the Raiders Report sent you. Go send some Raiders. Let's fill up the DMs there. You can find their Instagram. It's at Magic Spoon Cereal. Go show them where the Raider Nation's all about. The next story coming up here on the Raiders Report is around signing Reuben Foster. Now, I know there was a lot of questions out there about the linebacker position simply because of the injuries to Javin White, Nick Kwiatkoski, Darren Lee. I mean, it goes on and on and on, right? Nicholas Morrow. Probably the top name being mentioned out there, I'd say, on social media. I've even seen a few articles about it, about the Raiders going out and signing Foster. So I was like, well, my job here as the host of the Raiders Report is to give you guys the most trending topics going on and then give you my 2 cents on it. He hasn't played since 2018. Plenty of on and off the field issues, no doubt about that. But he is trying to make a return to the NFL. So there was a video posted on Twitter that ended up going viral. It said that he's up to 240 pounds. He started playing at about 228 when he came out of Alabama. And he's literally just running on a field. And he does look quick. He does look like he's in good shape. shape, but we've also seen so many players run on a random soccer field in the middle of August. You're like, oh, that guy's going to be great, and it doesn't always pan out. So what I'm going to be breaking down here is what Foster could potentially bring to you on the field and what it makes sense for the Raiders to go out and get him. So let's look at the last 2 years, and only the 2 years he's ever played in the NFL. In 2017, in 10 games, 72 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, no sacks, 5 quarterback hits, 1 pass breakup. In terms of the overall tackles, 29, 2 tackles for loss, 0 sacks, 2 QB hits, and 1 pass breakup. So, not really the best production, even sometimes when he was on the field. Now, I will say this. In the 49ers' first, I believe, 8 games of the 2017 season, they were 0-8. Then Foster came, really helped transcend that defense. He was just an absolute monster, and they ended up finishing the season at 6-2. So, he was able to bring a lot to the field. Now, in terms of overall some PFF grades, I mean, some of these grades are going to be pretty jaw-dropping to you, and overall, he had, in 2017, an overall grade of 83. I mean, that's very high. A run defense grade of 86. Pass rush grade was 65. A coverage grade of 72.8. What about in 2018? This is where the numbers really came down. An overall grade of 44.3, a run defense grade of 52.9, and then some of these other grades as well. They were really, really much lower for Reuben Foster. So I get the fact that he was really good in 2017. His 2018, though, year was not nearly as good. So after hearing some of those numbers, should the Raiders go out and sign Reuben Foster? I want you to go down in the comments section and type Y for yes, or I want you to type nah. He tweaking. So please let me know down in the comments, should the Raiders go out and sign Reuben Foster? Y for yes, or I want you to type nah, he tweaking. Now what's going to be coming up here on the show is I'm going to be breaking down reasons why you should sign Foster and why you shouldn't. The first reason why you should, the Raiders still do need some linebacking depth, even after the Denzel Perryman trade. With injuries to Morrow, to Javin White, I am still a little bit worried that they're not going to be 100% healthy, or they do lack a little bit of depth. The next reason, he does have the talent. You can't deny the talent. When he's 100% healthy, I don't know if he's ever going to be healthy again, but when he's 100% healthy, he was an unbelievable linebacker back in 2017. We know Jon Gruden loves Alabama players, and he definitely helped Alabama win a national championship underneath Nick Saban. So the fact that he has that Alabama connection, I know that's definitely going to interest Gruden at least a little bit. The other reason here we're going to go with Vontaze Burfict, Richie Incognito. A lot of people in life think people need second chances. For Vontaze, he was on his 4th or 5th chance. If you're going to give Vontaze Burfict a chance and Richie Incognito with all their crazy past, why the hell not give Reuben Foster a chance? But it's only if you think he's good. The last reason is he wants to play. Anytime you find a player that's really working his tail off and he's verbally saying, hey man, I want to get back out there on the field and I want to play again, that obviously is it inspires at least a little bit more confidence for me. Now, those are the reasons why you should sign him. Here are some reasons why you ultimately just avoid him. He tore his ACL and LCL in 2019. That basically made him miss the entire 2019 and 2020 season with just some bad injuries being able to stack up. Anytime you see a talent from before, you're like, wow, that guy was really good. But now he's missed 48 games. So since he's coming to the NFL in 2017, he has missed 48 games. That is a lot of football games being missed due to multiple injuries here. So definitely something to keep in mind. And then the last reason why I am going to avoid Foster, it's just the off-the-field issues. Now, some of these off-the-field issues have been a little cloudy, and the reason why I say that is because he was accused of, sexual assault, and then his girlfriend said that he did some stuff, and then she was like, he didn't do anything. A lot of different crazy things. But in terms of when it all started, I mean, he had a failed drug test at the Combine back in 2017. If you're going to show up to the Combine, maybe you shouldn't be under the influence of stuff. 2 arrests his first 2 months in the NFL. He's definitely had some substance abuse policies or abuse issues, and then accused of domestic violence. But the domestic violence was kind of cloudy again because his girlfriend at the time said that he hit her, and then she went under oath and said that he didn't. So it's kind of a crazy situation. You guys can read up more about it. I'm here to talk about football. So for chalky heads, I can guarantee you this. I don't know if the Raiders make this move. I don't really think that the Raiders will make this move, nor should they, if I'm being 100% honest with you. But if the Raiders do go out and if they sign Reuben Foster, I'll make a video. Just like I made a video for Denzel Perryman, just like I made all these videos here. It doesn't matter what time of the day is. If I am awake and one of our producers has a pulse, we're going to go ahead and make the video, so go ahead and smash that sub button. All right, y'all, so with the updated linebacking depth chart, Perryman has been slotted in as the strong side linebacker, though there has been more reports out there that he might just be a backup at this point. He's not going to be playing in this preseason game. And the hope is that he's going to be ready for week 1. And the reason why I say that is because Perryman has already come out and said that he's not 100% healthy, which might concern some people. Also, the Raiders, the fact that he's not going to get vaccinated, that's an issue for them. And actually, as I'm making this video on Thursday, the trade isn't 100% official yet. So it is still something to be a little bit TBD on. But in terms of what you're going to be able to expect from Denzel Perryman, I mean, in 2020, 48 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 0 interceptions. You can see here some of his other stats that he's had throughout his career with Gus Bradley. And yes, he's had 6 seasons with Bradley. And then in terms of games played, game start, and snaps, this is another dude who has struggled a little bit being able to stay healthy. I mean, he's only played over 400 snaps once in the past 5 years. Obviously, it's not 100% what you want, but if you are looking for a little bit more depth, that is at least a little bit encouraging. In terms of his 2020 PFF grades, last season, he was the second highest rated linebacker that played over 100 snaps, the overall grade of 83.3, the rush defense grade of 86.3, pass rush 75.6, coverage 74.1. Now, sure, that's a little bit of a smaller sample size, but when he was on the field last year in Bradley's defense, he was very good. The next stat that I'm going to bring up here is his 2020 coverage stats, because if you do want to be able to succeed in this defense, I need to be able to find a linebacker that can cover. He was targeted 23 times last year, allowed only 17 catches, and sure, some of you are like, oh, wow, it's kind of a high completion percentage, but I want you to look at the yards per completion, 5.4. I believe that was the lowest in the National Football League on a linebacker targeted over 20 times. I mean, that's a phenomenal number. So sure, people are catching the ball, but then they're going right down. So as soon as I saw this deal go down where the Raiders, they got Denzel Perryman and a 2022 7th-round pick, the Panthers got a 6th-round pick in 2022, I went ahead and I was like, you know what, this is actually a pretty good deal for the Raiders. I don't really think that there's too much to lose. So what I want you guys to do after seeing this deal again, I want you to go down in the comments section and grade it right now. Grade the trade. A, B, C, D, or F. What did you think about the Perryman trade? A is great. B is good, C is average, D is bad, F, well, hopefully you guys have never gotten F, though I know I've definitely had 1 or 2. So in terms of this overall trade, I'm going to go ahead and give it an A. I don't really think the Raiders have a lot to lose. You were able to find a cheaper version, a plan B, if you will, of KJ Wright, somebody that knows this system, somebody that's going to be able to come in and hopefully contribute right away. Now, if you guys haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram. I'm at MitchellRenz365. My DMs are going to be very, very flooded, though, for the simple fact of I got to hook up with some free Raiders tickets. And if you guys want them, DM me for the details, though. I don't believe it's for the Raiders and Ravens game. Still some more details to come on everything going on, but if you guys want to party with me in Las Vegas on Monday Night Football, I'm going to be there all weekend. All right, what's coming up now is we got some Perryman winners and losers, and the reason why I wanted to do this show is because every single time somebody's either signed or traded for, there's always the question of, Mitch, who does this help the most, and who does it impact the most in a negative way? So what I have here on today's show, 3 winners, 5 losers. The first and probably the biggest winner, and Denzel Perryman getting traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. This is going to shock you. Denzel Perryman. That was not a good fit whatsoever with Carolina. He gets to come back with Gus Bradley, and he's excited to be a Raider. Number 2, I'm actually going to go out and say Bradley. I mean, this kind of takes a little bit more pressure off of him. It even takes a little bit more pressure off Casey Hayward, where he has another player out there on the field that can be a little bit of a player coach. The last name that helps, Nick Kwiatkoski. With the injury to Nicholas Morrow, I believe now that this opens up an area where your starting linebackers week 1 up against the Baltimore Ravens is going to be Corey Littleton, Nick Kwiatkoski, and if Denzel Perryman's ready to go, it could potentially be him, though it also might be Tanner Muse. Now, in terms of the biggest losers, I am not sitting up here and calling Nicholas Morrow and Javin White a loser, but I am saying the only reason why the Raiders went out and made this trade is because of both these guys getting injured. Because they got injured, unfortunately, they made the list, but obviously I'm wishing them a very, very speedy recovery. Let's go to the second biggest loser here, Asmar Bilal. Well, he's been working with the first-team defense at least a little bit here and there, but the reason why I have him as a loser, this now makes him probably the 3rd-string strong side linebacker for this Raiders team, and I don't think they're going to end up keeping 3 of these guys. What about Tanner Muse? He's been getting some starts in the 4-3 package. Tanner's been okay, but he's also looked kind of kind of shaky at times. It's one of the biggest reasons why he was playing in the fourth quarter of the last preseason game. Number 4 on my list, Tavon Coney. He was a UDFA out of Notre Dame back in 2019. Has been on the practice squad for the Raiders the last 2 years. Recently signed this past week because of all the injuries, but because of the Perriman signing, he's not going to make the 53-man roster. And then the last name, Max Richardson. Richardson was a fun kind of idea coming out of Boston College. Obviously, Mike Mayock, he's got those Boston College connections, but you're looking at another situation, a lot like Tony. A UDFA doesn't have near the talent of somebody like Perriman or a lot of these other guys, but could end up making the practice squad, not going to make the final 53-man. Now, if y'all made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Please, seriously, go ahead, subscribe. Let's get to 82,000 subs, and I hope to see you at our Raiders versus 49ers watch party. It's going to be a wild, wild time, and hopefully we can cheer on the Raiders to a win.